Gearheads who love classic cars often want to get their hands on a cool but cheap collectible, but these cars are usually expensive due to their immense historical significance and consequently high market valuation. In their quest for awesome but affordable American cars that can be classified as classics, enthusiasts may find themselves unable to keep up with market trends. It is always best practice to buy something that has a high probability of growing in value over time, making potential resales profitable. Car enthusiasts whose dream cars are too expensive due to their historical importance shouldn't feel too bad, as there are some great options and alternatives that are somewhat more on the affordable side. Here is a list of 10 such classic American dream cars that are still available for cheap. Number 10. 1967 Plymouth Valiant 100. Plymouth may have gone out of business at the dawn of this century, but their cars are still getting many heads to turn as they roam the streets. The 1967 Plymouth Valiant 100 carries a Chrysler inline-six engine generating just around 145 horsepower and 215 pounds-to-foot of torque. The Plymouth Valiant built up quite the legacy for itself despite having a production run that lasted less than 2 decades. It was one of the best domestic cars to have come out of a North American automotive brand, as it was among the cheapest new cars you could buy at the time of its release. The 1967 Plymouth Valiant 100 is valued at just around $7,400 on Haggerty, when in good condition, which is 27.6% higher than last year. Now might be a good time to invest in the Valiant 100, as it is a great classic car under $10,000. Number 9. 1985 Cadillac El Dorado. Some of Cadillac's finest luxury cars include the much-loved Cadillac El Dorado, which remained in production for 5 decades. The 1985 Cadillac El Dorado was the last model year in the 10th generation of the El Dorado series, and was not a powerhouse like many of its predecessors. Cadillac had downsized the 1985 El Dorado, resulting in an underwhelming power output of just around 135 horsepower. Regardless, the car's value stands at around $8,300 when in good condition, and has been on a steady rise for the last few months. The El Dorado can make for a great addition to a budget collector showcase or to a classic car enthusiast's garage. Number 8. 1976 Ford Mustang II. Many fans of John Wick have wanted to get their hands on a 1969 Ford Mustang Mach 1, the car that the titular character drives in the film, though it is incorrectly referred to as Boss 429 in the film. The car has the potential to cost well over $100,000 as it was a high-performance machine that boasted great horsepower numbers. However, when the muscle car era was over, due to the CAFE regulations, the Mustang was nerfed in the 70s, resulting in cars like the 1976 Ford Mustang II, an important model people love to hate. Good condition examples of the car are valued at just $10,500, which is already a 22.1% increase in value from last year. The 1976 Ford Mustang II can be a great alternative to the 60s Mustangs, as it is a V8-powered pony car that has the sleek and stylish design that older Mustangs did. The car may not be as competent as its predecessors, as its engine delivers just 134 horsepower, but it can still serve as a great project car that'll likely make for a powerful machine after an engine swap or just some tuning. Number 7. 1967 Chevrolet Nova. Chevrolet had a plethora of exterior and interior options for the 1967 Chevrolet Nova lineup. Those were the good old days when automotive manufacturers were not afraid of spicing things up a bit with fun and exciting color and material options. Modern cars tend to have very few bland color options like white, gray, and black, all with fancy names and not much variety. The 4-door station wagon 67 Chevy Nova carried a V8 engine with a rather modest power output of just 195 horsepower. The 1967 Chevrolet Nova is valued at just around $11,600 on Haggerty, when in good condition. The car's value has been on a slow but steady rise, and it might be a good idea to invest in one of these stylish machines while their price tags are reasonable, especially since they make for great resto-mod cars. Number 6. 1987 Pontiac Firebird TransAm. Pontiac's high-performance cars were some of the finest in the North American market while they were still around, But all brands were hit equally by the changing market trends and emissions regulations after the end of the muscle car era. This resulted in the creation of the 1987 Pontiac Firebird TransAm, which offered a rather modest power output of just 165 horsepower. The 1987 Pontiac Firebird TransAm's pop-up headlights and sleek exterior made it stand out as a stylish car from an era when most cars were leaning more towards fuel luxury and fuel efficiency. The 1987 Pontiac Firebird TransAm carries a good condition market value of around $11,700 according to Haggerty, which is on a steady rise. Fans of the Firebird should consider taking one out for a test drive, as these machines can be great project cars, especially when they are still cheap on the market. Number 5. 1972 Mercury Cougar. The 1972 Mercury Cougar is valued at around $13,100, which is quite cheap considering this is a Cobra jet coupe that's powered by a V8 engine rated at 266 horsepower. The Mercury Cougar can make for one amazing restoration and modification project car, especially now that its price tag is so accessible for gearheads on a budget. The Mercury Cougar has a long and rich automotive history, with many V8 engines featured under its hood. Mercury ended the Cougar's legacy as a pony car in 1973, opting for station wagon and sports coupe variants to remain on the lineup. This is why the 1972 Mercury Cougar is so significant, as it is one of its last model years before major alterations were made. Number 4. 1970 Ford Ranchero Squire. The 1970 Ford Ranchero Squire was a light-duty pickup truck that came mounted with a rather impressive 5.8-liter V8 engine rated at 300 horsepower. The Ranchero Squire was something of a personal luxury truck that came with revised styling when compared to its predecessors, and it is currently valued at $20,900 on Haggerty, when in good condition. The year 1970 was very important because it was one of the final years before most high-performance vehicles on the market got detuned or discontinued for good. The 1970 Ford Ranchero Squire can make for a great classic pickup truck to add to one's garage, and that too for cheap. Number 3. 1974 Bricklin SV1. The Bricklin SV1 was a misunderstood sports car failure back in the mid-70s. The two-door coupe was plagued with unreliable hardware and several other quality control problems. That is why the model lasted just 2 years in actual production, before being discontinued for good. However, the 1974 Bricklin SV1 does have a rather unique and stylish design, that makes it a very rare and cool car to own. The SV1's V8 engine was rated at 220 horsepower, which was impressive for the time. The market valuation of the 1974 Bricklin SV1 places its value at around $21,500, when in good condition. The value of this car has been on the rise for a while now, which makes it a rather desirable classic car for gearheads who love unique and unusual sports cars. Number 2. 1948 Lincoln Continental. The Lincoln Continental had a long and prosperous career before being discontinued for good in 2020. This is probably why older models of the Continental are slowly beginning to see so much love from collectors. The 1948 Lincoln Continental has risen 18.1% in value in the last few months, currently being valued at around $23,500 on Haggerty. The classic design of this car is not the only thing that attracts car enthusiasts to this American relic. This hand-built luxury car had a rather big front section that housed the 4.8-liter Lincoln Zephyr V12 engine. The 1948 model year was the last time this engine appeared in the Continental, and it was also the last Continental until the 1956 Continental Mark II was introduced by the brand. Its historical significance is evident by these factors, and its affordable price tag makes it all the more desirable. Number 1. 1972 Ford F100 Custom. This 1972 Ford F100 Custom comes with a V8 engine that delivers a modest power output of 196 horsepower to all 4 of its wheels. The Ford F100s are historically significant not because of their towing and hauling capacities, but because of their comfortable interior design that rivaled regular cars. These were some of the first trucks to actually combine power, function, and comfort. This is why the F100 is such an icon in American automotive history. The 1972 Ford F-100 Custom is currently valued at around $29,100, which is an almost 25% rise from its value a few months ago. The 1972 model year was just a carryover from the 1971 model year, which had minor trim changes when compared to its predecessors. The 1970s saw underwhelming power in most vehicles due to new regulations, which is why the 72 F-100 is not particularly impressive in terms of horsepower numbers. However, it is a great classic truck that can still serve as a time capsule in a collector's showcase. Those are the 10 classic American dream cars that are still cheap.
Don't forget to like, comment and share this video if you like it. Press the subscribe button to keep getting our latest video information. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.